The latest news, national issues, the political scene, and conversations with prominent personalities. All these firsthand at the forefront. Good morning. I am Attorney Karen Jimeno. The House Committee on Good Governance and Public Accountability conducted a hearing last Thursday on the use of confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education. On Friday, Vice President Sara Duterte had a sit-down press conference where she openly criticized President Bongbong Marcos and talked about other things that are wrong in the current administration. Some say that the Vice President is diverting from the issue, but others think that she is only defending herself from a reportedly massive demolition job against her. Did the Vice President come out clean after her sit-down press con? Or did she put herself on a politically precarious situation? Joining us this Monday morning, live at the BNC studio, Congressman Rolando Valeriano of the 2nd District of Manila and Professor Malou Tiquia. Good morning, Congressman Roland, and good morning, Professor Malou.
Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, ma'am.
So we'll be dissecting VP Sara's interview by showing you clips, and we'll also give 1 minute to each of you with a timer set to comment on the issues related to the interview. So first, we'll start with this video clip.
Hindi ginamit ang confidential funds sa AFP. Hindi din siya ginamit sa YLS. Ginamit siya supporting information doon sa mga areas kung saan may nakuha na reports na at risk ang mga bata. Walang binigay na CF sa AFP. Walang binigay na CF sa YLS. Yung YLS lang ang tinanong. Sinabi namin, ito yung areas at risk. Sabi na yung AFP, okay, gawa namin ng paraan. Based on information we gathered doon sa baba. Antayin natin yung next hearing, antayin natin kung ano yung sabihin doon, tapos isa-isahin natin siya.
Okay, first let's talk about this issue. Do you think Vice President Sara made a good account of how she used the confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President?
Well, Karen, to begin with, a confidential and intelligence fund, by the name itself, is confidential. No? There are things that are charged to it, whether the President or the Vice President, which refers to how the office is operating a certain task. So when that was revealed in the committee, I thought it was bordering already into national security because they are releasing information on the safe houses. And as I was telling the good congressman, what would be the ultimate objective of that? Would you be revealing operational details? That for me is problematic because since time immemorial, confidential and intelligence fund has been used in the operation of government. And there are certain things there that are charged to it because of the nature of the job. In fact, Conference and Intelligence Fund is released cash. There is no paper trail. You have an operational report and you fund it.
Okay, we'll go back to that, Malou, but basically what you're saying is that it's fair not to disclose too much details on behalf of the Vice President because it is related to national security,
That's
where
right.
they use the money. Congressman Roland.
Actually, ma'am, I agree with Professor Tiquia when it comes to the confidential fund of the President and the Vice President. But the confidential fund question was the confidential fund of the DepEd. So it is only the first time that the Department of Education nagkaroon siya ng confidential fund. And that is what we question. Tapos yung manner ng paggamit niya, medyo questionable. If it is for the Office of the President, I think talagang tama yun. Pero sa DepEd, yun po yung kine-question namin. Hindi naman po yung Office of the Vice President, but doon sa Office ng Department of Education, yung kine-question dito na confidential fund.
And yes, go ahead.
Can I respond
Yes.
to that? Being a former university president of the city of Manila, you see, when you are head of an academic institution, there are several challenges in administration, one of which is security of their facility, the other one is security of your students and faculty. And I think the reason why she was given by the President a confidential and intelligence fund is because of the nature of primary education. The recruitment is very, very high.
Recruitment
by the left on certain schools, especially those schools that are in the last mile. Yung malayo sa syudad, mataas ang recruitment doon. That is why, nung sinasabi nila, DepEd, shouldn't you ask the question to the President why she was given a confidential and intelligence fund? If in the manner of thinking of the President, it is needed, who are we to question the decision between a Vice President and the President? Unfortunately, ito, with hindsight, lumalabas napupolitika. Kasi nung simulang sumulat ang Pangulo, ang Vice Pangulo sa Pangulo, ang Pangulo nagbigay nung approve, authorize the release. So my sense is Congress after the grant of that money, the use of that money, that is between the President and the Vice President because this is a CIF.
Okay, so that's really in the nature of the confidential funds, which I think right now a lot of people are also questioning, why are we even allowing this because of the lack of transparency? But we'll go to the next video clip, and this also has to do with repertorial requirements with the Commission on Audit.
Unang-una, nag-explain kami lagi sa Commission on Audit kung paano ginastos yan. Lahat ng hiningi ng Commission on Audit, binigay namin. Meron kaming mga hindi nabigay, sinabihan kami ng Commission on Audit, kailangan namin yan. So, we fully cooperated and participated and submitted to the Commission on Audit with regard to the confidential funds. Alam niyo, hindi nakakapagtataka sa gobyerno ng gumastos ng millions araw-araw. Kami doon sa DepEd noon, pumipirma kami billions in one day para maglabas ng pera. So, hindi nakakapagtataka ang 5 million, 10 million in a day. Pirma lang yan. Tapos lalabas na yung pera. Ibabayad na yan kung saan yan ibabayad. And then, babalik na yung documents para sa ganyan. Ganun talaga ang gobyerno. Gumagastos siya everyday para sa mga projects niya. And sometimes, it's not millions, billions ang pinipirmahan ng mga opisina ng gobyerno para sa projects. Okay? Yes. Maraming salamat.
Sabi ko kung mas mahal pa rin po yung kinasa sa same houses po ngayon, parang luxury hotels sa mga mamahaling kondo po sa Metro Manila.
Okay. So, with respect to the Commission on Audit, are they allowed to really go into the details of how the confidential funds were used, or is this a matter of complying with certain repertorial requirements? Malou, you have 1 minute.
Karen, there is a joint circular among certain agencies in government on how to render judgment on confidential and intelligence fund. The point being is there is a process under the audit code. Under the audit code, you are given a reconciliation process where certain documents are presented or probably a justification why you are doing this. That process is inherent in government. All agencies undertake a reconciliation process. So my sense is let's await the decision of COA If the notice of disallocation is proven to be correct, then there is, as the Congressman was saying, you return the fund. There is no, if there are cases of misfeasance, malfeasance, then necessarily the COA will have to endorse to the Ombudsman. But the COA stops into the audit. That's their role.
Congressman Roland, your thoughts on this?
Tama naman po, but the problem is, humaharap ka sa appropriation committee ng Congress and you're asking for your budget for 2025. It's but natural to the Congress to ask saan mo ginamit yung nakaraang budget mo, including the confidential fund and the ordinary fund. The problem with that committee, wala po siyang sinabi dahil nga sinasabi niya confidential. Para bang nanghihingi ka kahapon ng fund, sabi mo gagamitin mo for a certain gamit.
Purpose.
Then ngayon, purpose, ngayon nanghihingi ka ulit. Pero what you're saying is, don't ask me about the budget yesterday dahil ito naman yung hinihingi ko ngayon. So yun lang po yun.
Well, you have 16 seconds left. But has it been done before where there has been questioning in Congress regarding the use of confidential funds?
Because this is the first time na mayroong confidential fund po in the Department of Education. Before naman yung mga nakaraang Department of Education, wala naman silang confidential fund. It's only now.
And other departments usually don't have confidential
Yeah,
funds. Okay, let's look at the next video regarding insertions in the budget.
So, DepEd. So, personal, and then, bakit ako nag-resign, umalis sa administration, DepEd. Alam niyo na yon. Sinabi ko na yan, 2 tao lang nagkukontrol dyan. Ulitin ko lang mabilis. Si Zaldico, Martin Romualdez. Kita natin yan. Tingnan nyo ang NEP, tingnan nyo ang GAA, tingnan nyo ang tingnan nyo ang NEP, tingnan nyo ang GAB, General Appropriations Bill, tingnan nyo ang GAA. Makikita ninyo ang galawan dyan. Hindi na siya kailangan ng expert. Sundan nyo lang kung ano yung nagbabago. Anong isa pa? Na-proof ko dyan, yung AKAP. Diba? Nagtalo sila sa AKAP. Sinasabi ng mga senador, hindi naman namin nakita yun noon eh. Sabi ni Saldico, o diba? Pinirmahan nyo, digital signature ninyo, pinahiram ninyo, pinirmahan nyo yan. Nandun yan. Wala nang bycam na nangyayari. Ang sa akin lang, presidente ka, di ba? So you have the full cabinet of experts, finance experts, nandyan sa iyo. So nakikita nila, di ba? President, Mr. President, ito po yung NEP natin. Pero pagdating po sa GAB, ganito na po yung nangyari. Di ba magtatanong ka na, ano nangyari? Bakit naging ganito?
We'll start with you, Malou. Your thoughts on this. Is it really possible that Congressman Zaldico and Speaker Martin Romualdez can make insertions in the budget oblivious to President Bongbong Marcos?
Well, apparently it happened. There have been insertions in the past where the sitting president would veto. The problem with the 2024 budget is there are several provisions there that could have been vetoed by the president, but was allowed to go. One of which is the insertion on school buildings, which the Vice President said. The other one is AKAP. And really the worst part is the removal of the counterpart fund for foreign assistance project. So if you're going to look at the budget process, we have to reform the budget process, or else we're going to end up really, our debt situation will be precarious. That could lead to a potential meltdown of this country. Where are you going? Are we printing Mickey Mouse money? That is the danger of unbridled power over the purse. It has to be controlled, and to a certain degree, yes, the two decide. I mean, if you're going to ask members of Congress...
Yes. Okay, we'll go to Congressman Roland. you're in Congress right now, so is that really possible? Two people controlling
First
the
thing
budget?
first, ma'am. Yung sa classroom, lumabas naman during the hearing ng Good Government na ang NEP nila is 19 billion. That is their requested NEP.
And then the NEP is the National Expenditure
Nung lumabas
Program.
naging 24B according to USEC Dancing. At what is the problem nga ng congressman, no? Merong mga allocated funds for their district na nawala because of yung si USEC Dancing nga nag-aalat ng budget. So it is not true that si Saldico at si Speaker ang nagko-control ng budget. Dahil if they control the budget, how come that 19 billion naging 24 billion sa DepEd mismo pumasok? Second, yung AKAP, whether na pinirma ng electronic or hindi naman po sa Congress din napunta yun. It is intended for DSWD. So, yung DSWD naman yung inihingan ng tao. So, it has nothing to do with the congressman or with the House of Congress.
Just to briefly add, because Congressman Roland, it might not be clear to some of the viewers what AKAP is. AKAP is this a type of assistance,
It's
cash
like
assistance?
AYIX parang
O parang cash assistance. But it is coming from DSWD.
DSWD.
Was it
Social Welfare.
included in DSWD?
Yes.
No, I beg to disagree. No, even the officials of the SWD were shocked to know that there is AKAP. And if you look at the special provisions of that fund line item, it's unprogrammed, but the release of which is determined by the speaker. So you know, the budget, there's several special provisions that control the release and the actual implementation.
And Congressman Roland, would you say that these types of AIX, AKAP, yung mga cash assistance programs that should be in the line agencies, we've had prior episodes where this was discussed as well, na even Congressman Marcoleta said, kahit siya hindi komportable, na bakit Congress ang nagpapamigay. Nagiging type of, ano ba siya, parang nagagamit sa premature campaigning or a type of pork barrel?
You have to request to the DSWD, but it has been a practice since the time of President GMA, even at the time of President Duterte, and now at the time of BBM. It is a practice that once you want the budget in your district, you have to ask the permission of DSWD kung pwede sila magbaba ng budget. And it is yung DSWD din naman ang nandun at nagbibigay. It's not the congressman. And even the senator, they what I know is they also have the power mag-request sa social welfare.
But has it happened where it's Congress also distributing assistance?
No, wala pong ganon.
Okay.
It's always the social welfare people.
Okay. We'll go to the next question, but I'm looking at Professor Tiquia's reaction. Parang gusto niya pang magsalita. But because of the limited time we have, let's look at the next video clip.
May red flag din yan si Martin eh. Magkatabi kami niyan sa airplane nung kampanya. May sinabi ako sa kanya, may sagot siya sa akin. Pero yes, imagine niyo, meron tayong speaker na on record, on paper, in another country, na tumanggap ng suhol. Kaya.
Elaborate lang po yung speaker on record.
Ay. Kailan ba yung speaker part? Kailan yung Martin Romualdez part? After November? After opening ng House? Yes.
Let's talk about ng confidential concept ng House. Regarding po sa DepEd and the OBP's confidential
Ay, yes, as I said, antayin natin yung next hearing ng House, Good Governance. Masyadong maaga sagutin sila. Walang lumalabas eh. Gusto ko lumabas so that pwede akong magsalita. Wala. Kahapon, wala naman.
Okay. Well, do you really think that Vice President Sara has incriminating information against Speaker Martin Romualdez? But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break. At the forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the forefront. Professor Malou and Congressman Rolando, I would say that was one of the most interesting parts of Vice President Sara's press con. She said that she personally knows that si Speaker Martin ay tumanggap ng suhol in another country that is on record and on paper. But she refused to elaborate further and she said meron pa siyang revelations dun sa next na press con niya relating to Speaker Martin. Let's go to this question. Do you think that VP Sara really has incriminating information against Speaker Martin? Let's start with you, Malou.
Well, Attorney Karen, the Vice President is a lawyer. And if you see through all these interviews and the clips that you are showing, she makes reference to documentary evidence from the NEP, GAB, GAA. Now, she is referring to an actual decision in the Court of Delaware on what transpired regarding Okada. So I don't know what kind of evidence she has, whether that is a video clip or the court records are already public and anybody can access to it. So the point is, this has been revealed a year ago and nothing has been made. The speaker has not responded to it. And she's saying nakakahiya. Of course, he is the fourth highest officer of the land, and to be caught in a Delaware court and be mentioned in a ruling, that to me is very condemnable.
What about you, Congressman Rolando?
This is the first time na narinig ko to, and I do not know din kung yun yung sinasabi ni VP Sara regarding the Delaware Court. Basta, as far as I'm concerned, wala akong alam na kaso or tumanggap ng lagay si Speaker until such time na sabi naman niya parang may next episode pa siya eh. So, antayin ko yung lalabas niya at sinasabi niya.
We're all waiting in suspense.
Yeah.
But just for the record, Malou, you're referring to a case related to Okada Hotel in the Philippines,
Yes.
and a court case in Delaware
Yes.
related to that.
Yes.
Okay, let's watch the next video clip.
Magkasama kami nag-attend ng isang graduation. Truthfully, I wasn't feeling well. Kasi kinukulam nila ako. Andiyan na sila, umabot na sila sa kulam. Nagsama-sama na silang lahat. Kinukulam pa nila ako. So I wasn't feeling very well. Pero I had to go. Kailangan ko pumunta. Kasi para naman sa graduates yun. Hindi para sa akin yun. It's their happiest day. So nagsama kami. Nagsama kami. Katayo kami doon. And merong isang graduate na alam nyo, para sa akin, there was some sort of inappropriateness sa ginawa ng bata. Pero bata ito eh. So ikaw din, meron ka din dapat sana sigurong pag-intindi kung saan nanggagaling yung bata. And ang reaction mo, ang response mo, should be so that the child will learn a lesson. So meron isang graduate. Sabi nung graduate, Mr. President, can I have your watch as a graduation gift? And narinig ko, tabi ako, di ba? Narinig nung katabi ko, Narinig nung katabi ng katabi ko. But apparently, this guy, di niya alam kung ano isasagot niya. So ang ginawa niya, pinaulit niya sa bata. What did you say? So this time, syempre bata, hindi niya alam ba saan yung inulit ng bata, louder this time. Mr. President, can I have your watch as a graduation gift? Nasagot niya. Why? Why will I give you my watch? At that point, may sakit na ako. Wasn't feeling very well. Nandun lang ako, nakakatayo ako doon kasi may gamot ako. Gusto ko tanggalin yung ulo niya ba? I realized toxic na yung relationship. And it did not help na itong dalawang katabi ko, tumawa pa.
Okay, this part of the press con, it has nothing to do anymore with the president's governance. Very personal. But why do you think that Vice President Sara told this story in the press con? Why did she include this? What do you think her point was? Malou?
Alam mo, Karen, it is more of character of the leader. You have to understand that the tradition of asking for a watch didn't start at that time. It started FBR's time. Whenever there's a graduate, sa PMA, somebody will ask, Sir, can I have your watch as a graduation gift? What does a watch mean to a young soldier? It's about time, that I have your back, that I am for you, that my career is defined by time. Ang sundalo, pwedeng mamatay, ginabukasan, pag pinadala mo kung saang laban, ang sundalo, dedicated sa bayan. So, siguro, ang metaphor dun sa sasabi ni Vice President is, tandaan mo, sundalo yung humihingi sa'yo. Hindi malaking bagay dahil buhay niya ang pinapalit sa serbisyo. So I guess yung
so
character.
So there's a tradition pala. I'm not aware of that. So it's not out of the blue that this question was asked from the President. Congressman Rolando.
Kung FBR time, hindi tradition yun. Dapat yun, system immemorial tradition yun. Tapos, politician din naman ako. Siguro, she's comparing with the former President Duterte na pag merong gathering yung mga military, biglang nag-uubad ang relos, binibigay yung watch niya. Pero baka yun yung may mukha na watch niya na talagang pambigay. Minsan naman talaga yung politician, pag may nakitang maraming tao, tatanggalin yung relos, ibibigay. Pero pambigay talaga yung relos na yun. Ako, myself, hindi ako nagbibigay ng relos kasi sabi, iniikot daw eh. Nalilipasan ng oras eh, di ba? Pero I do not know the story behind that. Kung ano yung paliwanag ng Malacanang niya, baka naman meron silang reason why. Pero I don't think na tradition yun.
Okay. And what about VP Sara's statements that, you know, yung naisip niya na tanggalin na yung ulo? Well, that's how she described the toxic relationship.
Yes. Alam mo, Attorney Karen, VP Sara is an outlier. She does not conform to the traditional political communication that is defined by Metro Manila or even Luzon. She comes in being true to herself, unfiltered, and real talk. You will see in all that press conference that she had last Friday that she was just confronting issues. And these issues have not been confronted for the 2 years that she remained quiet.
And Congressman Rolando, do you think it was appropriate to bring up the story in a press con?
Unprecedented. And I think she wants to be controversial with that statement.
Okay.
That's all.
Let's look at this next clip. Speaking about controversial.
Hindi ko alam. Pero isang beses sinabihan ko talaga si Senator Amy
Sabi ko sa kanya, kung hindi kayo tumigil, huhukayin ko yung tatay ninyo, itatapon ko siya sa West Philippine Sea. Sinabihan ko si Senator Amy, one of these days, pupunta ako dun, kukunin ko yung katawan ng tatay nyo, tapon ko yan dun sa West Philippine Sea. I don't think sumagot siya. Hindi ko maalala. Nandun pa yun sa group chat. Merong mga nakakita. May ibang tao.
Okay. So Malou and Congressman Roland, some congressmen were saying that this would be a form of desecration. And Senate President Chis Escudero was quoted as saying that this is unbecoming of a vice president. Malou, will start with you.
Karen, I don't think it is desecration. I don't think it is unbecoming because there was a qualifier when she said, huhukayin ko. Kung hindi kayo tumigil, huhukayin ko. It's a threat. Will she do the threat that she mentioned? I don't think so. But it is a symbolical statement that tells you and reminds the target audience that nagpalibing kami. And why WPS? Because WPS is bringing us to war. Ganun lang kasimple yun. And when she put those two together, is she being controversial? Probably. But metaphor is part of political communication. And the sooner you realize that you are, a trap has been laid for you to fall, the better for you to stop commenting, especially you do not know the circumstance behind it.
Congressman Roland, your thoughts on this?
It's bad taste. Second siguro, even if not for the former President Marcos, pangit din sabihin, alam mo, yung gumawa ka ng nagkautang na loob, tapos sinisingil mo ngayon, hindi pa rin maganda. Even if it is not for President Marcos, kahit sinong ordinaryong tao, hukayin mo yung libingan, itatapon mo sa West Philippine Sea. Daming batang nanonood ang hindi magandang ehemplo yung sinabi niya.
Okay. And we also have a video clip here relating to the performance of the President.
Ma'am, sinabi niyo po na hindi niyo nagugustuhan po yung pamamalakad ngayon ni PBBM. Kung irarank niyo po, in a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is the highest, ilan po ang rate niyo sa performance po ni PBBM?
Nasabi ko kanina, 10 is the highest, 1 lang ang rating niya. Sabi ko na kanina, di ba, kung kayo gusto niyo, wala man akong problema. Huwag niyo na lang ako isali. Ako, hanggang number 2 lang ako. Walang number 1 ang Pilipinas ngayon. Kung meron man, ang daming number 1, iba-ibang direksyon sila.
Do you agree with Vice President Sara's rating of President Bongbong Marcos? We'll change the direction now. Let's start with Congressman Roland.
May lumabas yatang survey nung nakaraan The trust rating of the president pataas. Yung trust rating niya is pababa. So siguro baligtad yung sinasabi niya. Tsaka before she resigned as DepEd Secretary, ang alam ko, pinupuri niya pa yung presidente for good governance. So I do not know what happened pag alis niya. Wala namang drastic changes pag alis niya Ganon pa rin naman yung pagpapatakbo ng gobyerno natin.
Okay, Malou, what are your thoughts?
The Vice President was in the arena with the President for 2 years. In fact, she remained quiet. When she decided to resign in July 19, it was because of the insertions and many others. So yes, I agree with her rating for the simple reason that people need to feel the president. People need to have a sense of their lives improving. I don't think that is happening. We haven't seen big ticket projects. The price of rice is still the same. Yes, inflation was controlled, but look what happened to the removal of the tariff on the rice. It didn't drive the price down. Still, rice is at 45 pesos per kilo. So, ano yung 3 taon kang nanilbihan? Hindi ka pa rin nararamdaman? Hindi ba problema yun sa governance? So, Again, real talk, unfiltered, that is the way of the Vice President.
We'll talk about the platform of the President in response to this clip.
I mean, you should ask the President kung ano yung platform niya. Pero very clear yung platform ko. It was continuity of build, build, build. It was mapayapang pamumuhay, edukasyon, at trabaho. Very clear. And when I won, it was still mapayapang pamumuhay and trabaho and edukasyon, all related to security. And noong hindi ko nakuha yung overarching na sector, I focused on education. Siguro yan na rin yung sagot sa unang question mo. Paano ko nasabi na isubstantiate ko yung sinasabi ko? I don't ever remember may platform siya na sinabi kung anong gagawin niya para sa bansang ito. Di niya sinabi ano ang gagawin natin sa food security. Wala siyang sinabi kung anong gagawin natin sa inflation na darating. Kasi alam naman natin na at the time na darating yun eh. Kasi nakikita na, na-forecast na siya. So yan yung pagsisubstantiate ko sa sinabi mo. I don't ever remember, may plataforma siya, I don't ever remember him discussing kung ano ang gagawin sa problema ngayon.
Okay. Do you agree with Vice President Sara that President Bongbong Marcos has no platform of governance? We'll start with you, Congressman Rolando.
Well, sa ngayon naman, yung gobyerno natin, papunta naman sa paayos. Yung unity niya, nakita naman natin, halos ayaw niya ng meron pang kalaban. Second, yung platform naman ni Vice President, parang motherhood statement lang naman, di ba? It's every politician's platform naman yun eh. Lahat tayo yun naman din yung gusto nating gawin. Wala akong nakitang naging masama sa takbo ng gobyerno natin ngayon. As a matter of fact, walang gulo ngayon, hindi natatakot ang tao sa EJK ngayon. Marami namang nahuli rin na lawless element at nakakulong. And third, pinapanagot yung dapat managot. At yung mga build natin ngayon, tuloy-tuloy rin naman yung ginagawa. At ang tingin ko lang talaga, sa dami rin ng binabayaran nating utang, talaga nagpepreno rin ng gobyerno.
Perfect timing. Okay, Malou.
Well, siguro you go back to the 2022 when the unity was being built together. This is public knowledge. I was with the Vice President then. There was an effort to put together a platform. There were young Dabaweños who was part of the team and submitted that. And I remember then the Chief of Staff, Attorney Vic Rodriguez, met with them and got that platform and never really that was that. So essentially, the campaign of 2022 never really came out with a platform but came out with unity. Unity is a mechanism, unity is not a platform. That is why you need something like that to be, where are we taking the country? You see, Karen, in campaign politics, it's very, very important for you to lay out your platform so that once you win, this platform becomes now the agenda. This platform becomes now governance.
Okay, thank you so much to both of you. And let's look at the next clip.
Ang dami yung clip, ha?
Oo, ang dami.
Hindi ko kasalanan na we're in this road to hell. Hindi ko kasalanan na hindi marunong. You did not finish your sentence, sir, ma'am. Can you elaborate po?
Hindi marunong maging presidente ang nakaupo. Kasalanan ko ba yun? Hindi. Mas sinasabi ng mga tao, kasalanan mo kasi hindi ka tumakbo, ikaw sana yung presidente, hindi siya. But then I said, maaga ako nagsabi na hindi ako tatakbo for president. May madaming mga negative doon sa listahan.
Okay, so here's the question. She's saying that President Bongbong Marcos is an incompetent president. Do you think she's implying that she would have been a better president? Let's start with Malou.
Well, incompetence is really a value judgment. Would she be better off? May not hold water for the simple reason that you have to be the one deciding on certain issues. Probably with hindsight, you can say that. But yes, incompetence because after 3 years, dapat we're in the middle of the track already. It's a marathon. We're supposed to have plans to reach the end goal, but we still do not know where are we going. So that thing is very important. Even with the SONA, if you look at the various SONA, you cannot put together the building blocks to building the nation. So it has to be articulated by the leader. And this country is very leader-centric. So if you're the president, it's like, the white horse, the hope is with you.
Okay, what about you, Congressman Rolando?
Well, with the latest survey now, yung trust rating ni President ay pataas, I think in terms of governance, maganda. Opinion ni BP Sara yan. If she became the president, kung mas magaling siya, that I do not know.
And with all of this, do you think that Vice President Sara's open criticisms of President Bongbong Marcos is an intentional diversionary tactic, or do you think these are serious sentiments that she has against how the administration is being run? So just short answers. We'll start with you, Malou.
When the president said, I felt deceived, I think he should have known what's coming. You don't say you felt deceived in relation to the vice president, knowing what transpired in 2022 and the decision that came about for her to run with him.
What do you think, Congressman Rolando?
Well, if the press conference happens before the Good Governance Committee hearing, it is a sentiment. But the press conference happened after the Good Governance hearing. I think it's a diversionary tactics.
Okay.
It is to control the damage.
And we'll have another clip here. Tama ka, Malou, marami kaming clips.
October, nag-file ako. Pagdating ng late October, after deadline ng filing, tumawag sa akin si Senator Amy Marcos. Sabi niya sa akin, pwede ka ba tumakbong Vice President? Sabi ko sa kanya, alam mo, hindi ko pa narinig ever na sinabi sa akin na tumakbo akong Vice President. Sabi ko, bakit mo ako nire-request ngayon na tumakbong Vice President? And I'm happy that she was honest enough to say, kasi matatalo kami ni Lenny kung hindi mo dalahin ang Bisaya. It was very straightforward. Now, it was all about winning. October, nag-file ako.
A lot of people always find this question interesting. In hindsight, do you think that President Bongbong Marcos would have won the 2022 elections if Vice President Sara did not join him? Congressman Rolando.
Well, everybody will say na kapag pag president daw, it's always a destiny. Diba? So, I think whoever is tandem, siya yung president at that time. And besides, during the 2022 election, all survey, leading naman talaga si President BBM. And I believe, well-prepared siya. Mula nung matalo siyang Vice President 2016, up to 2022, wala siyang ginawa kundi magprepara. Tapos si Vice President naman that time, di ba sinabi rin naman niya sa press conference, dili-dali siya eh. Tatakbo siya or hindi, tatakbo siya or hindi. Iba yung prepared na tao, di ba? So, I believe siya pa rin yung mananalo, si President BBM. Unang-una nga, yung link state, destiny itong pagiging presidente.
Okay. Malou, what do you think?
I don't think he will win. Let's look at the numbers. There were 2 commission surveys done for PDP. The question was, if the following persons were included, who would you vote for? And the name of Sara Duterte was included. Sara was number 1. The second survey was, if Sara Duterte does not run, where will the votes for Sara Duterte go? To Go or to Marcos? It went to Marcos. So that's settled. Second, if you look at historical averages of a Marcos brand, they have consistently run for the president, for national, and they would always get 11 million. They got 13 million when he ran for vice president. Amy Marcos got 15 million when she ran for the Senate. Average that, you get probably around 13 to 15 measured capacity of the Marcos brand. That tells you what? You need someone to pull that number up. And that is where Senator Marcos rightfully went to the North-South tandem and wanted her, the Vice President, to be the candidate. She even mentioned, marami pa namang ibang Bisaya. Bakit hindi yan ang kunin nyo? Specific, because they have done and drilled to death numbers that only Sara Duterte can make this president win. And that is not hindsight, that is based on data.
On the numbers, okay. And if you were able to give advice to Vice President Sara, what would your advice be, Congressman Roland?
Well, pace the Congress, pace the people, and take her oath in Congress.
Okay. Malou?
Well, I would probably give a different suggestion to her. Remain strong. You are entering national politics, and national politics is dirty. Everyone is hitting you because you are the leading candidate for the 2028. She is not even in the ballot in 2025, and she has not decided for 2028. So all these things that, trying to put her down, those of you who do not understand the Duterte brand will have to understand that Sara Duterte is far different than the father. The father, we were discussing, the father, he has good political sense. But this leader speaks strong, speaks direct, and really wants the public to understand why these things are happening and why she has to say her piece.
Congressman Roland, why are you still standing for BBM?
Well, gusto ko yung maayos na gobyerno. I don't think na dapat magulo yung gobyerno in the middle of this term. So yun lang po tayo.
Thank you so much, Congressman Roland and Professor Malou.
Thanks.
We appreciate your insights on the highlights of VP Sara's interview. Thank you so much for your time. Vice President Sara Duterte has aggressively drawn the battle lines with President Bongbong Marcos and his administration. While Malacanang has refused to comment on VP Sara's tirades, Congress is determined not to let her off the hook, looking to complete their probe on how her office used the confidential funds allocated to her office in 2022 and 2023. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. Always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for meaningful conversations that would help you form an objective personal opinion. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Thank you for spending your hour with us.